What these ladies are coming forward with, everybody, is it's personal, it's professional, it's important. They have a stake in the ground. So we're going to hold some really beautiful space for you all to have, God willing, this breakthrough. Here's what I understand. Tell me if I'm wrong. Your retreat's in June, like you said. You have a total available tickets of 20 or 25. Is that right? 20 or 25? I don't know how you guys have configured the
Yeah,
rooms. And tickets
19.
19 and ticket sales have not gone in the direction that you would have hoped. And so we now want to triage that together. Is that the basic understanding?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, great. So talk to me about the direction that would be like, what are you finding before I pepper with questions? What are you finding is happening in the market and what you're seeing?
Initially, we had lots of traction of I want to come, I want to come, I want to come, and follow up conversations, but just no nothing that kind of um, molded out. And then those conversations became less. And now more so, it's we're doing a podcast, we're going live, we have articles that Kendra puts together so lovely and writes from our discussions on Wednesday, and the traction is just still not what we expected. To be honest, we talked and I talked about and mentioned like we kind of came in like a little arrogant of like between my community and your community, we got this on lock, no problem. And so we have been humbled,
You've been what?
humbled,
Humbled.
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 And
Um, so that's my take. That's where I am on it.
Okay,
and I think
fair.
I would just add to that, is that LaShasta's right. We've been humbled because we do have big groups. We do a lot of speaking. We're out and about. I think the other thing that's happened to us from a economic and environmental perspective is that so many of our community and so many of the people who said they were coming have lost jobs. We come from a place of, we clearly are African American women. So much of our community is that, as well as founders and entrepreneurs. So we've been talking to a lot of people. The rate is about 61% of African American women who have become unemployed with this current administration. We're also finding that some of the entrepreneurs, the people who had businesses, who thought they were going to be in a stable place, their businesses have gone under. That's something that's been happening in our community. And there's also been a loss of DEI programs. So I preface that to say our retreat was never just about one group in terms of ethnicity of people. It really was about, and it is about high performing women who are entrepreneurs, who are senior executives, who are really looking to move from hustle to harmony. However, the communities that we serve, the communities that we sit in, very much look like us. And so we have not only been grappling with the economic disparagement that's been happening with the people who said they were coming. One of our people actually booked, paid, and then lost her job and had to cancel. So we're trying to be sensitive to that because we have been hearing a lot of feedback. Wow, you guys are doing this retreat when so many people are losing jobs, when there's an attack on especially Black women. We saw that as a way to say, let's rise above, let's come together, let's, figure out how we can really get back to wellness. But then it comes down to cost. And then the other piece of this is making sure that we're speaking to everyone. We're very much, neither one of our companies at this point are just rooted in one community, even if that's where we've been before. And so even when we talk to people of other races or they join our lives, the first thing they say is, oh, is this just for Black girls? Is this just for Black women? So to LaShasta's point, our counter has been going broad, still staying focused on sleep, wellness, and purpose and the theme of our retreat and the community we serve. But to LaShasta's point, we've expanded with our podcast, with our articles, with our lives, with our tags. We're even speaking at different things so that we can make sure that we're speaking to everyone. So
Got it. Okay,
I
I'm
just
very
wanted
clear.
to add.
Yeah, no, thanks for adding. And this is so helpful. And I did bring in Colette in case she wants to pipe in. Colette, there's no pressure. Colette obviously works with Imaloa ladies and she does her own pretty premium retreats in France, $10,000 plus for Black women, right, Colette? So I just want to make sure that I preface why I brought someone else on the screen, just in case, because I'm very clear that my point of view is limited and I want you guys to get the best possible experience. So what I've heard so far. And I'm not saying that one thing will switch, but a bunch of little things that we can do can start to turn this. Okay. The first thing, well, first of all, I just want to commend both of you. It's not easy to show up like this, to be articulate like this with a headache and however LaShasta's feeling. I'm glad I was present to that. And just coming publicly and talking about this. Like it takes something, and I'm really committed to us having this moment now. And also, we can talk offline as well. Okay, ladies, I want to make sure this is successful for you. You're in February, your thing's in June, February, March, April, May, June. 5 months, really. I know it's not exactly 5 months, but just humor me for a second. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 tickets a month, 1 ticket a week. That's all we're talking about right now. Chunk it down to be able to make sense of it. Chunk it down to downregulate the nervous system. This is what I do in my own life. I have the same kind of issues with last month was shit for sales. This month I'm trying to make up for it. I know I have 10 days left in the month. I need this many contracts per month. This is how it works. This is how it works as a retreat leader, as a retreat center. It's reflective back. So you're looking at 1 ticket a week, which is a substantial lift, but it's not impossible. Okay. That's number one. Number two, what I'm seeing here is a classic focus on the top of funnel, which is usually where people are comfortable, especially people that are used to entertaining people and speaking from stage like you two are. And that means this: podcasts, articles, speaking from stages. These are top of funnel initiatives to bring leads in, which is excellent. And you guys are masterful at it. What is missing, unless you just haven't shared it with me yet, is a middle of funnel teach to sell initiative. Now, I know you said Wellness Wednesdays. Is that every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday we go live and then we repost it as a reel.
You go live on Instagram.
Yes.
Something you may want to consider is something more formal like this, where people have to give their email in order to be invited in. And then because it allows you to market to them consistently, as y'all know, if you've received our emails after signing up for office hours. So what I'm sensing, and you can still do this, you still have time, you two, we got to strengthen the middle of funnel. The middle of funnel's purpose is one thing. You have the lead. They're not going to buy from you right away, but they will buy from you once they have a know, like, and trust in place. And you do that by teaching to sell. What this also does is it starts to signal to the community that these are the people that are in the community that Kendra and LaShasta are creating. That also down regulates the nervous system and increases the feeling that it's a premium offer. For example, just by other retreat hosts, seeing the other retreat hosts, I can't tell you how many women, particularly because we have 40% BIPOC people that hosted in Maloa. A lot of them will tell us that they signed because they saw someone that looked and sounded like them. The trust that gets created in the middle of funnel of teaching to sell is so important, so that the community can start to say, oh, wait a minute, I don't get to just learn from Kendra and LaShasta, but I get to be with Colette and with Vanessa and with Olivia. And you can't get that by going live on Instagram.
Hey, Jake, can I pop in too?
Anything you want, Colette.
So, hey, ladies, how are you?
Hey.
So I follow these two on social, and I have caught some of their Wellness Wednesdays. And I'm a big advocate for podcasting. I do think what Jake is saying is appropriate, but I don't think that you have to remix it quite yet. In terms of, I think you do need something more formalized for sure, but you can still monopolize off of your Wellness Wednesdays. Those people who come on, no, when you're talking, Kendra, LaShasta, whoever is coming on and making comments, I'm sure you're noticing the same people. After that live, pop into their DMs. And then that's how you're going to pull them over, get their email, and invite them into this container. Because when people are on a certain platform, they want to be on that platform. They don't want to be pulled off of that platform, right? But that's how you're going to actually monopolize on what you're already doing and the momentum that you have, where you don't feel like you're starting over with 4 months to go. So execute what Jake is saying, but pull those people over, and then you can start having
Great.
conversations with DMs and talk to them because they're interested. I'm sure there are a couple of people who have shown up every Wednesday, or at least majority of those Wednesdays, that you haven't even talked to about that. So that's how you leverage that without recreating the wheel this late. It's not late, but this far in the game.
Question for Kendra and LaShasta. That was great, Colette. Question for you ladies. Um, in the live, when you're repackaging it as a reel, is there any call to action for anything related to the retreat?
Yes, we talk about the retreat every time. We talk about the retreat on the podcast. We talk about the retreat on the live because it's a
What's the
wellness.
call? What's the call to action, LaShasta?
To go to follow us on Instagram, to go to the web page, our landing page to see more. And Kendra had started taking down the people who came on the live, and when she posted the reel, she would tag those people
Okay.
that were on the live.
One little adjustment here, if you'll indulge me. By the way, take what you like and leave the rest. I got nothing going on about what you implement. What I would suggest is call to action to a website is not going to move the dial, as from what I've seen. You actually want to call to action in something that you could fail at. When something's at stake, you want to rip the net out. So the call to action that you could fail at would be book a one-on-one call with us. So why do you think I'm in office hours running around with Liv, getting people to book calls with her? And we booked 7 calls out of office hours last week. Half of them will close contract. That's me just talking to myself for an hour, which I do anyways, concerningly. I'm just, my goal was just to get LaShasta with the headache to laugh, and I did it. Okay. So, look, call to action to the site is fine if they want more information. Get them into one-on-one calls with you guys, and then you can come into the next office hours next week. And if you're having trouble with enrollment calls, we will triage your enrollment calls, and you will be converting people's objections into commitments so goddamn fast you won't even know what happened. But we've got to start getting them into Calendly calls with you. I don't care if you go live and you get 1 call. Do it as a practice. Momentum begets momentum. All momentum is scientifically is mass times velocity. Eventually it'll go like this. But you can't, if you are sending them somewhere that you can't see where they go, that is not a call to action that we want. You want to be able to see, okay, office hour, true story, had 32 people in here last week, 6 booked calls, 3 will book contracts. That's why I sleep well at night, because I just know. And people are like, I've had people say, why the hell are you showing up just for 30 people? Because of the 3 contracts that are coming out. It's the same thing with you guys and every other retreat host that's listening. Middle of funnel, teach to sell, get their email, show them the community that they get to be a part of. The second part of that, in that environment, and you can do this in your Instagram, is start to disturb the pain. What happens if they continue living life burnt out, not sleeping well, thinking that their job actually is what matters when they have 2 kids at home? And you can't tell anybody this. You have to ask them questions, which is why office hours is just me asking you all, not you guys, but most people, just a ton of questions. Because what it does is it makes you realize, as a retreat host, I'm talking about my product now, that there's a gap. And then you have a sense that Imaloa might just solve the gap. For you guys, it's asking them questions in live environments. You're cueing to others that it's safe and that it's a community that they want to be a part of. And then for the prospect, you ask them enough questions, it's going to start to create a gap of where they are versus where they want to be. And that's where the invitation, not to book the retreat, that's where the invitation to book the call comes in. Because then we need to have a powerful enrollment call. And enrollment is not registration. Enrollment is possibility. Registration is details. And again, I commit to you, I will bring you in first up next Wednesday if you want to come in, and I will go through an enrollment call with you. The only agreement that I need from you is that you have at least 1 enrollment call between now and next Wednesday that you can bring in as an example, and I will walk you through how we can improve enrollment calls and conversions. How is this landing? I know Colette and I have been talking a lot. I know Colette probably has something more. With the 2 ladies, how is this landing with you guys? I know this is a tense period.
I mean, I think it's great. To LaShasta's point, like we take screenshots and then we tag. But Colette, the DM piece, had not thought of that. And we were like, oh my gosh, like we have to be careful about their privacy. Do they want to be tagged? And so that eliminates it because we can just DM them. And I think even thinking about the middle of the funnel, you're right. Like we're pushing out and we are, I would say, LaShasta, doing a good job of trying to connect it into storytelling coming out of, being at the host retreat. We have done a really good job of storytelling and even our Bring a Guest on Us offer, not a promo, but more about harmony is better in community and we care so much about you that we want you to bring a guest. So I think if we can take that and get the middle of the funnel squishy, move it into the calls, use
Ooh,
the
squishy.
DM, that feels good.
Why did you say squishy? Just curious. I love that. I love that visual. But what for you? What does that mean, squishy?
So, because I think it's like squishy just kind of felt like holding people tight,
Hmm.
squishing us together is is the sentiment and how we feel about it because we were so moved and touched coming from our host retreat and we could see the shift in our content, how we thought about it. And so I think if we can now bring that into this middle of funnel, because you're right, Colette, thank you for coming. Colette has been showing up to support us. And it's some of the same people and then they're bringing people, but then we lose them in the middle. If we can like squish them together and then bring them into the enrollment calls, right, LaShasta? So that I was just thinking squishy is in a touch and feel and be with you in a
Yeah.
tighter space.
Right. No, I receive what you guys are saying. I do like the DM idea, and we have talked about and toyed with the idea of doing like a live event or like a little tea party, dinner party at the end of February. Kendra and I will be together in person to record some podcasts and go on site to different places with the guests. And so we've kind of thought about the idea of like, while we're both there locally, should we host something small, something intimate where people get to the know, like, trust us piece. But I'm all for the booking of the one-on-one calls and having
Two
conversations.
Trying to get
two
people.
things. Colette, I swear to God, I'm going to you, but two things. First thing, if I'm being ruthlessly honest, never mind about the tea parties. Do it all virtually. You don't have the time to fuck around right now. That's number
Okay.
one. You do your tea parties, invite me to all the tea, but don't think that that's going to actually translate into a purchase, please. Do it,
Okay.
but just get clear on the middle of funnel and the squishiness of what a middle of funnel can be. I love the squishing. It's squishy and they get to know. I love it. That's number one. Number two, Colette, I have a question that you can go with what you were going to say, which is your podcast has been phenomenally successful in selling out your $10,000 tickets. Is your podcast a top of funnel or middle of funnel initiative, Colette?
Oh, I love that you asked that question because I was just about to touch on this. It's top of funnel for me.
Okay.
Um, but this is the thing. I think people think so rigidly around top of funnel, middle of funnel. You can take that content is good, it's evergreen. You can take that, repackage it in some way, whether it's verbally or in a PDF or whatever, and speak to the pain points of your people. And that's what Jake, I was gonna say, let's not, I mean, I love a high tea. Your girl is always going to London to the ham yard for high tea, but that's not going to sell out your retreats right now. I think that's just a little bit of a distraction. We need to get people, we need to get talking to them. We need to start agitating that pain point that they have and talking. I don't think we run away from the fact like your community is your community, right? Like, yes, like just like my retreats, there, my community, you'll see, you can go back and see that there are people from different cultures and ethnicities that have joined me on retreat, but my community are high performing C-suite Black women. And let's be honest, this is what's happening in that community. People who have been making 250K a year get cut from their positions. And it is a bit it's a bit scary. So I don't think you run away from it. I think you press into it and you educate around why this is still so important and how you can make it more manageable and get their head wrapped around how they can do it, right? It's not an either or. And of course, you're going to have extremes where, people just can't afford it or just, but you can still sell tickets. I think you take those learnings from the podcast, from the Wellness Wednesdays, and you talk to and educate around those pain points using the material that you already have. You know, you don't have to recreate the wheel on that. And that's why podcasts, here I go on my rant about podcasts and things like that, is so powerful. It establishes you as a thought leader and it's evergreen. And if somebody has a pain point or a pushback during the call, you can say, hey, you know what? We just did a podcast about that 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let me shoot it over to you. And then you'll follow up with them. Don't think that they're going to listen to it. You know, you got to follow up with them and ask them about it, right? Like I just did a whole like tribute, Galentine's tribute to my girlfriends or whatever for my community on the podcast. I called every single one of those girls and was like, look, I shouted you out on this podcast. Did you listen to it? You know what I mean? So the fortune is in the follow-up, whether it's getting somebody to listen to your podcast or it's getting people on the phone. And then after you leave them from that conversation, following back up with them. Like it
And
just have to
and podcast leads them into the middle of funnel, LaShasta and Kendra and everybody
yes,
listening. Get them into the squishy.
to the
Get them
squish.
into the squish.
Yeah.
And if you're like,
at different points, but yeah, mine is at the beginning and
what's the name of your podcast? Lois Cutter wants to know.
Mine?
Yes.
Eat the damn bread.
Eat the damn bread. May we all. Thank you, Colette. Okay,
Yeah.
ladies. So come back in anytime you want, Colette. I just want to kind of start landing this plane. Ladies, squishy, middle of funnel. You've taught us so much by showing up today. This is going to be successful for you. I'm going to give you one additional quantitative piece of data to start measuring by. And this might be like, oh, I really don't want to do this. The data shows us that 1 out of every 5, 20% of bottom of funnel, well-educated enrollment calls will convert. I've been looking at this for the past 6 months with retreat hosts. Why do I care about how many calls it takes for you to convert as a retreat host? Because your goal really ought to be to establish 5 calls and then watch one of them convert into the high ticket offer. And that is true for everyone on this call. It's the average. So sometimes it'll take more, sometimes it'll be less, but a 20% close rate of the calls at the bottom of funnel. So if I were you two, I would fix the squish and then have an internal goal of 5 calls booked in the next week and watch this thing turn. It will turn because I have been known to resuscitate a dead horse from life. So I will make sure it turns if you keep showing up weekly in office hours. We will get this to turn. Yes?
Absolutely. I believe in God. I believe in you. I'll be here. I'll figure it out. I'll make sure that I'm here in office hours. I guess my last point, my last thought is, no matter what I've done, it always gets to the point of I don't want to feel salesy. And when I'm on a call, even when I do my consultations for sleep coaching and wellness, it's like, what's the problem? If we can solve it real quick, let's solve. You know, that's me, and I know that you have to hit the pain and stay in the pain longer with them before you go to any type of solution. Is there
pause? How do you hit people's pain right now? When you say hit the pain, you think I'm just walking around slapping people across the face? How do you hit people's pain?
I mean, I'm hitting them with sharing my own story to say I'm relatable.
Okay,
like
there's the challenge. That's why you feel like a sales schmuck. You have to ask them questions. My sales calls are 90% questions, ladies. I disturb the pain by asking questions. What's life? And I just stay fully present. I don't have a list of questions. I just start asking questions. And I don't know where I'm going most of the time. And any of you who have had an enrollment call with me know damn well that's what happens. Mm-hmm. But we get there because I'm just asking questions. They don't worry about your story. Your story should get them into the call, LaShasta. It should not be what sells them in the call. It's tempting. This is a hard thing. This is a hard muscle to learn because you're like, well, if I just tell them more, then they'll be more convinced. That's exertion of self-will. This is a spiritual experience of sales. A spiritual experience of sales is about asking them questions and then finding a way to ask them if they're finally willing to do something about this. Are you ready to do something about XYZ? And then you refer back what they've just said to you. Now, that might still feel salesy, but it'll produce a result. And so right now I want to produce the result and protect the investment that you all have made.
Oh, absolutely. No, it doesn't feel salesy. You know, I'm a therapist by trade. So
I know.
We sit, we listen, we ask questions, we reflect. So you just gave me the,
You had the aha, you had the moment.
had the moment.
Good. Now, look, it's not going to be clean and clear. It's going to be a little sloppy this next week, but come back in with the slop. We'll clean it up and we'll refine it. And by June, we'll see each other and we'll be like, shit, it worked. Because it will work, because I resuscitate dead horses back to life. Thanks, you guys.